you feel fulfilled in love? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. What if I told you there are some brutally honest things that you must know about men before you begin to date them? What if I also told you if you choose not to learn these things, you will eventually be taught them through the painful experiences that you will have with men? If you would rather hear it then experience it, then join me on today's show where we'll be discussing 7 harsh truths about men I'd share with you if you were my daughter. That way, you can learn of the reality you're bound to face as soon as you begin dating men. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Who we got all up in the chat today? Okay. All right. Someone said, I thought no show. Always a show. Okay. I see we got Evan here. We got Taylor here. Zyra is here. We got, who else we got here? Let me scroll up. We got Gabriella is here. Ferry is here. Valerie is here. Who else? 7 is here. And of course, we got our 3 moderators in the TikTok chat. We got Sharice, we got SH, and we got Scotty here. Okay. Up in the YouTube chat, who we got here? We got Irina is here. Melita is here. Viola is here. Crystal is here. Okay, Kayla is here. Sophie is here. Nicole, one of our amazing channel members, is here. Kubi is here. Minnie is here. And of course, we have Missy America holding down our YouTube chat. All right, let's get this party started. This is going to be quite an interesting show today. So I'm actually going to start off with this caveat here. I'm going to talk to you the entire show as if you're actually my daughter and we're having a conversation about life and relationships. So I'm going to refer to you as if we're like related by blood. Okay. So you know this now. For the rest of the show, you're actually my daughter and we're having a conversation about dating now. So I just want you to be aware of that. That way, when I'm referring to you, you're all not confused. And I'm sure the new people that come in will be like, why is he talking to me as if I'm actually his child? Okay. There's a very important reason for that, right? Because I actually want to communicate to you all something, very important, and you're going to notice a theme in the things that we discussed today, but we'll get to that as time goes on, okay? Number 1. Okay. So, first point here, men are the same everywhere. You have to accept and realize that your love, the love of your life, the person you're looking for, right, is out there. But do not get obsessed with the idea that your perfect person is in some fairy tale land away from you, that you now begin to think that only the good, amazing, all the good, amazing men are in the places that you're not. 1, that will become your reality, okay, and you'll struggle to find love. Number 2, you'll also begin to trick yourself, okay? So I'm your dad today, all right, not in a weird way. I'm your dad today, but I'm like a really creative dad, all right? I got some, art in me. And so we're going to draw everything that we're talking about today that I'm discussing with you. We're having a serious conversation, okay? So like, let's imagine it like this, right? Let's say we got the USA here, all right? This is a very bad USA drawing. And you live in the USA. And you're under the impression that all of, oops, why did I draw that like that? Things falling apart here. Crazy. They ain't gonna stop us. You're under the impression that all of the good men live in the USA. Actually, let me change that. We know that's not true. Let's make it a little bit more realistic, okay? You're under the impression that all the bad men live in the USA. And so let's say you are living in the USA. And because you live in the USA, you think to yourself, oh, I'm only going to meet horrible men here. They all don't know what they want. They're all really feminine. They all want me to give them princess treatment. None of the men in the USA are at all what I'm looking for. But you want to know who is what I'm looking for? Does anyone know what country this is? Does anyone know? Can anyone guess? I want to know if any of you actually know what country this is here that I've drawn, okay? You think all the good men live here, right? All of the good men in your mind live in this country that I just drew. Who can guess what country I just drew here? Right? It's Italy. Okay, you guys are smart. I want to see how smart you are. Okay, my drawing skills not that good, but you guys know what I'm drawing here. I want to see your geography skills. So you're under the impression I live in the USA. USA's so sad. All those men are so feminine. They're not at all what I want. But my dream man, the man that I'm looking for, he lives in Italy because I have this fantasy that when I take a trip to Italy, I'm going to be staring at the Eiffel Tower. It's going to be sparkling in my face. There's going to be a slight breeze from the west. And when the slight breeze is blowing from the west, I'm going to be staring at the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to see the stars in the background. And then a man is going to tap me on the shoulder as I'm staring at the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to look back. He's going to say, Madame, I just wanted to give you your perfume that you dropped back there. And I wanted to let you know that this scent is unlike any scent I've ever smelt in my entire life. And you say, oh my gosh, that's such a magical and kind thing of you to say. And then the two of you kiss in front of the moonlight while the Eiffel Tower is glowing and the stars are out at night, okay? Right? And here's the problem, okay? Right? Someone said that's France. Oh, that is in France, right? That Eiffel Tower is not in Italy, right? You get my point, right? And my point being is, see, when you begin to believe that, hey, all the good men or my fantasy is existing in Italy or France or wherever, now you start to say, okay, the man of my dreams is from there, not where I'm from. He's from Italy. So when I go to Italy or I go to France, right, whichever one, I go to France, I go to Italy, and I meet a guy, I automatically begin to assume that guy is one of the good men because I met him in the place where I imagined all the good men to exist. But the problem is, and this is where I come in as your dad to let you know some hard truths about men, men are the same everywhere. Meaning, everywhere you go, there will be bad men. Everywhere you go, there will also be good men. Never be of the belief that just because a guy is from a different country, a different city, a different culture, a different ethnicity, that necessarily makes him a bad or a good man, okay? You make no assumptions when you start dating guys that they're either bad or good simply because they're from a different area or simply because you're not accustomed to dating those type of men. The reason I say that is because you can easily become tricked by men who just aren't from your area because you believe all the good men live in Italy or you believe all the good men live in France. And so this man that you met in your magical moment on the Eiffel Tower while it was sparkling, you said to yourself, oh, this is definitely the man I'm looking for. So in everything that happens in your relationship from there on out, you give him the benefit of the doubt because you're of the belief that, oh, you're exactly who I want. You're the kindest, most nice, most appreciative, most amazing gentleman I'll ever meet in my entire life. And so I'm never going to doubt that. I'm never going to question that because I know that I always wanted to meet a man in Italy. And I know that the men in Italy are so amazing. You want to know what the people from Italy or the people from France are saying about all the men in their area? They're saying all our men are garbage. Okay? Our men are garbage. They're useless. They don't want real relationships. They can't sustain a relationship. If I was advising you to date, don't date any of the men from Italy. You should go across the world to USA because that's where all the handsome, big, buff, masculine men exist. And that's where you'll get you a daddy, no pun intended, you'll get you a daddy that you want to date and be with and will take care of you. All the useless men live in France, all the useless men live in Italy, wherever, okay? And that's where they're all existing. Don't bother yourself with those men. Once you begin to believe that, you make yourself so susceptible to being tricked by men. And you're going to notice a theme in everything that we discuss here today. Do not allow yourself to be put in a position where you're more susceptible to being tricked by men or taken advantage of by them, because either you you start to build a narrative within your mind that you want to believe in, or you allow men to implant narratives within your mind that you believe in and then operate off of, okay? Good men are everywhere, meaning good men are also in your town and in your city. There's also very bad men in your town and in your city. It's your job to decipher in the process of meeting them and getting to know them which they are, whether they're good or whether they're bad. Now you can do that, and that's the whole strategy behind everything that we discuss in the Players Club, okay? So let's hop right into number 2. My eraser fell. Okay, does that make sense to you guys so far? I know I got the geography wrong. It was, you guys said it was France, that is where the Eiffel Tower is? I'd be thinking, yeah, Paris, yeah. Sorry, I messed that up, you know. This isn't geography class, this is Learn Men class, okay? Look at my board. Look at my board here. Board looking crazy. All right, let's hop into our next one. Okay, point number 2. I'm gonna leave that in there when I post the video too, see who catches it. See who's paying attention. All right, rich men for number 2. Please, 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 okay? I need you to understand, okay? Rich men are also players. Do not convince yourself that rich men are not the same as the poor men, okay? We're gonna draw a little bit of a graph here, okay? So that you guys can understand this. Let me grab my little... I come prepared in all facets. So I want to erase this because I don't like how this is looking on the board. Okay. The rich men are just as bad as the poor men. And we're, look, what the hell? Look at how that, this is crazy. Look how that stain wants to stay there. I've never seen, this is supposed to be a dry erase marker. This is actually insane. The sabotage they're trying to put us through is actually insane. Right in the middle of the board too. That's insane. All right, so what I want you to understand when it comes to rich men versus poor men, right? And this is gonna be a painful reality. Okay, so rich men and poor men are both capable of playing you. They just play you in a slightly different way. Here's the tricker though. See, in today's 2024 world, you have a lot of people talking to you, right, about how a man who really likes you will do what? What will he do? Spend money. And what will the poor broke men do that you don't want? They will they'll make you pay. But here I am as your father, here to tell my precious daughter, it doesn't matter whether he makes you pay or whether he pays for everything and spends a lot of money. The reason for that is because both rich men and poor men understand that there is a strategy to playing women. They just do it slightly differently. See, the poor men, in which you've been accustomed to and which everyone is trying to make you aware of, they will use words and lies and manipulation, okay, to essentially trick you into believing into something that will then have you sleeping with them or allow them to take advantage of you, whether it be physically or emotionally, or get girlfriend treatment from you without them putting any effort or energy into you, Okay, that's what the poor men will do. Now, the rich men, they have a different level of resources, but the outcome or the thing that they're trying to do if they're trying to play you is still the same, right? So instead of using their words, the rich men just use, okay, the rich men use their money. Now, how do they use their money? They use their money by flashing it in front of you, understanding that if I spend a lot of money on you, if I, take you out on fancy dates, you've been watching all these other content creators and relationship advice gurus tell you, make sure he's investing, make sure he's spending all his money on you, which is great. But you've paid so much attention to that even the rich men say to themselves, I know majority of these women are paying attention to the amount of money I'll spend. I also know I'm a rich man, meaning I have a lot of funds in excess, meaning I can spend that money on her and make it look like I'm really invested in her and invested in this relationship. You want to know why that's so amazing for the men? Because when they use their money to make you believe that they're actually invested in you, they then get to rush this process quicker than you regularly would because you believe this is your man and this is who you're looking for. And then they say, perfect. Now that you believe I'm your man, now that your guard is down, I'm going to get what I want from you, i.e. to sleep with you, okay? So in both of these scenarios, these men are taking advantage of you. They're just using different resources to do that. But what I'm here to help you understand, my precious daughter, so that you can understand this, whether or not, why did I do this? Why did I not put the E? Whether or not the men are trying to take advantage of you, just because they use different means to do that, that doesn't mean that they're not trying to take advantage of you, okay? And I want you to recognize that because I don't want you to get fooled by dating rich men who will still play you. Okay? Because them having excess funds just means that instead of making you pay for that first date, you want to know what they do instead? They pay for the entire date. They let you spend $300 on the meal. Then they say, hey, come back to my place. Let's drink a bottle of really expensive wine. You go back to his place. You get drunk off that expensive bottle of wine. He says, hey, come sleep on my really expensive bed. You come, you lay down on his really expensive bed. He smashes you with a nice, expensive, premium condom on, and then he sends you on your way in a nice Uber XL or Uber Black, all right? And all the same, you still end up getting used. The way about going about it is just slightly different. So I don't ever want you to think that financial investment, right, when a man will spend money on you equals emotional investment. Okay? Because what both of these men are trying to do when they take advantage of you is they're trying to avoid actually emotionally investing in you in this relationship while simultaneously getting from you the level of seriousness or investment that you would be giving to a man you are actually in a relationship with. Okay? Right? Does that make sense? Okay, someone said, except he sent me in a regular Uber. That's funny. Okay, so, but you get my point. And what I want you to understand is do not allow money to cloud your judgment and think to yourself, very similar to when I talked about, a guy being from your city or your country or thinking that he's bad and when he's not, all of a sudden he's good. Don't think to yourself, just because a guy spends money, all of a sudden his intentions are good, right? Because if you are of that belief, then all that ends up happening is you get played by all the successful rich men. Don't think to yourself that all successful rich men are always here for the right reasons. They also like to play women. They also like to sleep with a bunch of women. And they also like to get what they want out of women. Okay? Right? We don't want your guard being down for very arbitrary reasons that aren't the actual guy investing in you and wanting this long-term serious relationship. Okay? So let's go to our next point here. let's hop right into it. I want to see if I can get rid of this stain right here in the middle. How does a dry erase marker stain the board? That is so crazy. I might have to get me a new board. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Better at least. Okay, chat. Let's hop into number 3. This is a tricky one. So I want you paying attention. Trying to make sure my marker is nice and dark here. Okay. All right. So there's a little bit of a trick of devaluation that the men will give you when they meet you. Okay. So we're going to split this board here in 2 so we can kind of get an understanding of this. Now, on the top here, we're going to put in So on the top here, we have short-term happiness. And on the bottom here, we're going to have long-term happiness. Now, here's the thing about the way men will devalue you and encourage you to devalue yourself. See, in short-term happiness, there's very particular things that men want out of you and their relationship with you for short-term happiness, right? So he'll tell you things like, hey, I want you to be really fun. I love girls that are fun, right? I love girls that are okay? I love girls that are spontaneous, okay? I love girls that are adventurous. I love girls that take risks, go out of their comfort zone. So you're thinking in your mind, oh, if I want to be really attractive to him, if I want to be this really seductive version of myself, I should be thinking outside the box. I should be crazy. The crazier I am, the more attractive I am to him, because he's telling me all the ways he wants fun, spontaneous, adventurous, just, different, right? I can be different. I can get him to like me. And so what do? You go on the dance floor with him, and then, you just started meeting him, you just started dancing with him, you're thinking, I want to be fun, adventurous, exciting. So you unbutton his pants on the dance floor, and you're feeling his thingling while you're on the dance floor because you want to be fun, spontaneous, and exciting and adventurous, right? That's adventurous. He's hard on the dance floor, and you're feeling him up inside of his pants. That's fun, right? Spontaneous, super fun, okay? But here's the problem. This is short-term happiness. But the thing is, when you're dancing with him, he's like, oh, this is exactly what I was looking for. Oh, you crazy, girl. You crazy. You twerking up a storm. And it's fun in the moment. But then you want to know what happens after he has that short-term happiness and he encourages you to do that? Down the line a couple of months, he then says, you know what? I was thinking about our relationship, and I just feel like we're not really on the same page. It's a very particular type of girl that I'm looking for, and I feel like me and you just don't mesh. I think I'm looking for someone a little bit more serious, and I feel like you just really just want to party and have fun. So I'm looking for a different type of vibe. And you're sitting like, wait, I thought you wanted fun and spontaneous. Yeah, I wanted fun and spontaneous, but a different type of fun and a different type of spontaneous. You want to know why they do that? Because short-term happiness and long-term happiness are completely different, right? What he wants for long-term happiness right? He wants serious commitment. He wants to see that you have self-respect. He wants to see that you have boundaries. All the things that he encouraged you not to do before, or encouraged you to do the exact opposite before. This is why you cannot listen to men when they tell you what they want. I'm actually going to go into dad mode here. Men will always tell you that they want something from you that benefits themselves. They will never tell you that they want something from you that would make being in a relationship harder or more difficult. So when you start asking men what they want, and I'm talking about the men you're actually dating, when you start asking the men that you're dating what they want from you, understand they're going to tell you or give you an answer that serves their short-term happiness, okay? Majority of the time, most of the time, just assume it's all the time, they will never give you an answer that serves long-term happiness, because you want to know if what would happen if he gave you an answer that served long-term happiness. He would say, hey, actually tell me no a lot so that I know that you have boundaries. Have self-respect. So, don't always be available to me. Don't drop everything for me. Don't drop your career and your friendships for me. Hey, say no to sleeping with me. Make me wait for it. Think about this logic. Men will never tell you that. They will never encourage you to do that. But simultaneously, those will be the only moments or the only character traits that men will think of when they want long-term happiness. So the men are actually going to be encouraging you to devalue yourself. That's why I call it the devaluation trick. They're going to encourage you to devalue yourself. And then once you do that, they'll say, actually, you're not who I'm looking for. You don't have the type of value, or you're not the type of woman that I want in my life. So don't fall for the trick of thinking, oh, when I ask the guy that I'm dating what he's looking for, I'm going to listen to what he has to say about what he's looking for, take it to heart, and try and change and adjust myself to be more of that. Because they only want short-term happiness. Short-term happiness serves them the most. You being fun, spontaneous, and adventurous serves him absolutely perfectly. Because when you do that, you're not thinking of long-term consequences. Okay? But if I'm here to extract from you as a man, I don't want you thinking of long-term consequences. In fact, I specifically want you only focused on how you feel minute to minute. Because the more focused you can be on how you feel minute to minute, the more of an emotional decision you can be making. And if you're making emotional decisions, you're damn sure not making logical decisions. But if as a man, I can get you in that place where you're only making emotional decisions, perfect for me to take advantage of you. So as my daughter, I'm telling you, don't listen to the way men will encourage you to be more of something that they don't even want down the line. Hold your water and namaste. You meditate, you wait, because in the story of the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. Don't worry about the attention that these men give to all the fun and spontaneous girls. Don't worry about how they chase around all the girls who are half naked on Instagram. Don't worry about how they do this with that one and that with that. You stay put, you stay sane, you stay at peace, and you just be you. Let all of the men pass you by who are not serious. When all of them want to get serious with their life and their relationships, they eventually come back around to you and they say, hey, actually, now that I recognize you're the one who actually has self-respect, you're the one who actually has boundaries, you're the one I can actually take seriously, I want to be with you now. I'm done chasing after all the other women. And then you get to say, cool, so does all the other men. They all want me as well. And now I get to decide if I want to be with you, be in a relationship with you or not. Okay? Right? Does that make sense? I see some of you saying it's lagging. It should return. We'll give it a minute, chat. Let's see if it returns. Back to normal. Okay? Shouldn't be bad for the rest of the show. All right, let's go to our next one while we're hoping that the buffering stops. Okay. Let's see here. Next on the docket. Please do not devalue yourself. Please don't do that. Number 4, very important. Okay, very, very important. Is it working? Okay, it should be working. Should be working. I see on my OBS the connection is better. Lagging still, chat? Lagging still, or is it better? Lagging still, or is it better? Okay, hopefully it's better. Now, when we get into number 4, okay, you cannot be sacrificing anything in your life, right? This is the thing. See, the men, let me put in my note here. The men, they want you to sacrifice. They would love for you to sacrifice. Why? Because it benefits them. And we're going to kind of break this down here. Like my circles? Drawing skills getting better. Okay. So here's the thing. This is your life. And this is the man's life, okay? In your life, you have things like your girls, your fam, your job, and your passions, okay? He also has very similar things, right? He's got his boys. He's also got work. He's also got hobbies, hopefully. He's also got his fam as well, right? But here's the thing. And this is going to be a little bit of a fatherly talk here, okay? This is the whole point of the show. You have to understand that in this life, the person you need to look out for the most is you. And it is always going to be a mistake when you begin sacrificing parts of your life for a man. Especially, and this is going to be the really dangerous and tricky part that I want to make you aware of. See, even the men that will come to you and tell you, oh, Habibti, I want to take care of you, do everything for you. You're such an amazing queen of a woman. You shouldn't be doing anything, okay? You shouldn't even be lifting a finger. I want to take care of you. You need to stop going to school, stop studying, stop doing anything, stop working. You can't be working. You're working at a restaurant. Stop that immediately. You're my woman now. I take care of you. I pay for everything. I want to pay for your rent. I want to pay for your car note. I want to do everything for you, right? Sounds good in a dream, in a fantasy, in a Disney princess movie, but you're not in that. And here's the problem. See, what's going to happen when these guys come across you and they tell you how much of a queen you are and how they want to take care of everything, even when they begin taking care of everything, you lose each one of these things, right? You lose your job, then you lose your passions, right? Then you kind of lose your fam because you're spending all your time with him, and you lose your girls, okay? So now your circle is empty and you've essentially transferred all of this over here to him. He's got all of this now, and your circle is empty. But here's the problem. You have to understand, these men that tell you this, that you're dating, can quite literally, this is 2024, quite literally send you a text message and end the relationship. When this man is your boyfriend, that's how the kids are doing it, by the way, right? They're doing it over text. They don't even meet up to break up anymore. When he is your boyfriend, he owes you technically nothing. All he owes you is to tell you that he's breaking up with you when he wants to stop being your boyfriend. I'm not saying that to scare you. Well, I kind of am. We're having a father-daughter conversation here. But what I want you to understand is, do not let go of the things that are the most important to you in your life because you get a new boyfriend. That man can pick up the phone and send you a text message with a couple of words and end the entire relationship. But once you've given him your work, you've let go of your girls, you've let go of your family, you've let go of your job and your passions, now you have nothing. And remember, I always tell you, as your father, and I love you so much and I care about you, I tell you relationships are like war. Everyone's fighting for control. So now that you've given him everything in your life and you have nothing left for you, what do you think happens if one day he wakes up and he says, you know what? I was kind of feeling like our relationship would be much better if we had an open relationship. I was just, I was out and I was reading up on polyamory. And, I was really it was really starting to connect with me how we should be interconnected with everyone else in the world and the universe and the stars. And I just feel like I need to love on as many people as I possibly can. And I feel like an open relationship would be the best example of that. But I also feel like I think for the benefit of you and your loyalty to me, I feel like it would be best served to be open one-sided. So I'm open to give as much love as I can because I have a lot of love to give. I'm a very loving person. And I give as much as that love to other people as I possibly can. But you stay loving me because I know how much you love me and I want you to be focused, right? I don't want you to be confused. But I have so much extra love to give. I think I should give that to all the other people in my life as well. What do you think about that? And then you end up saying, well, you're paying my rent. You're paying my car note. I have to rely on you to literally live. I don't have a job if we break up. So then you say, I don't like it, but sure, whatever. Because now you have nothing. And you've sacrificed your entire life for a man who can break up with you over text. And now you're in between a rock and a hard place because you have no way to support yourself now because you've allowed him to do all the supporting of you. It originally sounded amazing when he was going to support you and do everything for you. But now that he's actually, doing things that you don't like and you want to walk away, you have no more leverage. Because in the process of allowing him to do everything for you, you gave him all of your power. Now that he has all of your power, he can flip the script on you, turn into someone different, and now you are forced to accept it. Because if you walk away, you have no way to pay your rent. You have no way to pay your car note. You have no way to work. You have no job, no future, no friends, no nothing. Why? Because you believed a man when he first told you, hey, I want to take care of you and do everything for you. You should be a stay-at-home wife. He didn't give you stay-at-home wife ring, but he told you should be a stay-at-home wife, so you should quit going to med school, quit getting your bachelor's degree, quit going to college. You can't work as a server. You can't be at that restaurant. I want you to be here with me all the time, and I want to take care of you 24/7. It sounded amazing. But he's just your boyfriend. And he can, as much as I know, these boys that you date, you're going to love them and you're going to think they're amazing. I want you to understand people change and things change. And in a relationship, you want to make sure you always keep your leverage. That way, anyone who tries to flip the script on you knows that you are more than willing to walk away. Your leverage is your power. And your power also subsequently equals your level of respect. People will respect you when they know that you have a level of power and control as well. People don't respect you when they see you have nothing and you need them. That's when they begin to take advantage of you, even in your relationships, even with the men you think are so amazing and so awesome. You can never give away your leverage. You can never give away your power, right? At least until he actually marries you. Then there's some sort of real commitment there where he actually can't just walk away and say, oh, it's over today because I feel like it being over, okay? Not saying that being a stay-at-home wife, there's anything wrong with that, but you should be a stay-at-home wife. Are you hearing me? Not a stay-at-home daughter. Please, I beg of you. No stay-at-home daughter, stay-at-home girlfriend, stay-at-home girlfriend. I'm thinking daughter, I said daughter, I said stay-at-home girlfriend. Don't be a stay-at-home girlfriend, be a stay-at-home wife, if that's what you want to do, okay? But do not be sacrificing nothing for a boyfriend, all right? Please, please, never do that. Never do that. Now, we're going to get into some things that I want you to notice of the men that you're dating, because all of these are very important, okay? I want you to take notice of the men that you're dating and the level of direction they have. I'm going to give you a dose of reality here. Unfortunately, in this world that we live in, okay, I'm a man, I'm telling you this as a man, majority of the men in this world do not have direction. They don't know what they want, they don't know where they want to go, and they don't know how to get there. That's just the reality of life. I have to tell you, you're my daughter, I love you, I care about you. After we get out of that reality, now I want you to realize there are men with direction that know what they want and how they're going to get there. We want you to align yourself with those men only. The rest of those, large group of men who don't know what they want and don't know how to get there, leave them absolutely alone. Why? Because you are eventually you're going to be my daughter always, but eventually you're going to grow up and be that man's wife. And in a regular heterosexual relationship, he is going to be the head of the household, right? He's going to be the leader. Not that you're not capable and intelligent and you not smart yourself as an individual, but he will be the head of your household. And he has to be able to lead not only you, but also your children as well that you're going to have with him. And even though you're still my daughter, I'm eventually going to give you away and you're going to have your own family and build your own family and your own tribe without me. If that man doesn't have direction or know what he wants, he will never be able to lead you and your children. That's very bad because I can't help you then. I can't help to come in and provide direction to your relationship and your immediate family, right? Even though I'm your dad and I love you, I have my own woman and my own family and my own things to tend to. And as you become an adult, you have to veer off and you have to trust that your man is capable of making good decisions. Because if your man is a man without direction and one day he says, oh, I don't really like to think too hard, I just like to, one day if I'm over here, I go to the left, and then maybe one day if I'm feeling it, I go to the right, and then another day, I might go over here, and then I might go up one day, and today I want to go and now I want to go down, and I'm here one day, and here, and another day, and I'm here, 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 and I'm here. All of a sudden, you're in a maze. Okay? And you want to know what happens when you're in a maze? You become very confused. You don't know where's in, you don't know where's out, you don't know how to get out, you don't know how to get to the center, and you don't know how to get to your destination. You're just wandering around in circles. Do not align yourself with a man who has no direction. Make sure when you begin dating men, X out all of the other stuff about feeling good and you just want to be in la la land and you and all the other stuff. Figure out first if that guy has direction in his life. If he doesn't, you'll be wasting all of your time. If he does, then you can start thinking about all the other stuff in a relationship and whether he's the one that you're looking for. If you meet men without direction, they will literally drive you around in circles until that car runs out of gas, in which case you will then step out and say, it was fun while we were driving around in circles. I'm going to go off somewhere else and do something else. You're going to sit in the car. You're going to wonder, what am I supposed to do now? I've wasted years of my life here. Okay? Right? So Champagne Mommy says, what would you describe as direction? Direction is a man who knows what he wants out of life, where he wants to be, even if he's not there right now, and how he wants to get there. And then the fourth part of that is a man who actually takes action on those things that he wants out of life. Okay? And that can be anything. As long as he has a clear path of where he wants to be, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a millionaire. I want to solve world hunger. I want to cure cancer. It doesn't have to be that. Even if it's small, even if it's not saving the world or being Superman, as long as he has a clear path or direction of where he wants to go, and he has some sort of idea or semblance of how he's going to get there, and he actually puts that plan into action, that's a man with direction. See, when some of you guys be seeing some of these horror stories about the men who have 35 wives or had a girlfriend and another girlfriend and another girlfriend all at the same time, or any of these weird, strange stories that you be seeing these demented men be doing, those are men with way too much time on their hands. When men have too much time on their hands, they have what's called an idle mind. They always say an idle mind is like the devil's playground, because when they have too much time on their hands, they have no direction. They can just sit around and think of things to do. The mind starts to work on what can we do? What can we get ourselves into? What type of trouble can we get ourselves into? Okay? So you want a man with direction, not only because he'll be a better leader to you and your children, but also because those are the type of men who have discipline in their lives. Okay? And don't have idle minds that can be taken over and they just start doing some weird stuff. Okay? Does that make sense? You want to find a man with direction in his life. Okay? Right? Very, very important. Let's hop into number 6. I'm very passionate today. I think I'm really in dad mode. Okay? I'm really channeling my inner dad. All right? So, number 6, very important here. Also, an inward look at the men that you're dating. Okay? So, habits are so important. When you date guys, one of the first things you need to take notice of is his habits, because habits are a snapshot of where he will be in the future. The habits have a direct correlation to success or lack of success in his future. And success doesn't just have to mean monetary success. Success can just mean having a rich and abundant life. Your habits are going to be a microcosm of the larger thing, the macro, which is the rest of your life and how your future turns out. So I want to give you a little bit of an analogy, because you're my daughter and I want you to get this and grasp this, so that you can better understand this, okay? Let's say you have a guy who has like a room here, right? So we'll say this is his room here, a big, nice box. And in the room, right, let's say one day he decides to leave one dirty dish there, okay? Let's say he slurps up some spaghetti, some macaroni and cheese, I don't know, some Kraft dinner. He makes some sort of concoction and he eats it halfway through and he leaves the rest of the plate there while he plays video games, okay? Now, leaving one plate in his room is not necessarily going to be the difference between life and death. It's not really that big of a deal. It's one plate, you know, and it's not that big of a deal. But let's say on day 1, he leaves one plate. Then on day 2, instead of washing that plate or taking it to the sink, he leaves it there and then he eats something else and then he leaves another dirty plate. On day number 3, once again, he slurps his spaghetti and he leaves his dirty plate while he eats or while he plays video games. And this goes on for multiple days. And all these plates continue to sit there and sit there and sit there for weeks until they all start sprouting mold. Okay? All these different plates here start growing mold and start smelling inside his room. And the mold attracts more bugs, more flies, more maggots. So now you got maggots over here, right? You got maggots all over the place. You got flies all over the place. You got, you start having rats, you start having mice, and this whole room turns into a pigsty that, the air isn't even breathable anymore because of how disgusting it is. Someone said roaches. Yeah, we can add the roaches here, okay? Add the little roaches with legs. And the roaches, they never die, right? That looks more like a mouse, but you get my point, right? The roaches, they never be dying, all right? And so the room becomes really disgusting. But the thing about this is it actually doesn't start overnight, all right? Because it only started with one plate. But the habit of leaving the plates in the room and never washing them over and over and over again is what accumulated over time to this whole room being basically unlivable. Are you following what I'm saying? It doesn't become unlivable in one night. It becomes unlivable when the habits pile up over the course of time. So the same thing with the men that you're dating, you need to take notice of their habits, whether good or bad, because those habits will directly shape your future and the future of your relationship with him. If that man has bad habits, your future and your relationship will be shaped directly by those things. So let me give you an example of what we would describe as a bad habit. Let's say, for the sake of example, your man has a really bad habit of, not communicating to you when he's not going to show up somewhere, okay? And let's just say he really has a horrible habit of flopping on you. He'll promise you that you'll go out one day, and then all of a sudden, he just never says anything to you, doesn't speak to you, and he disappears for that whole day, and you don't know what's going on until, the next day. Now, over the course of time, you might think, well, standing me up on one date is not that big of a deal. But as you're building and building this relationship with this man, what you're actually seeing is the habit of not being responsible, and the fact that you can't count on him to do what he says he was going to do. So you want to know how that habit of not being able to be someone you can count on manifests in the future of your relationship? Now, in the future, when you guys are married, he then says to you, oh, you have this really, really important event that's going on today? Yeah, I'll make sure that I'll finish work on time or early. I'll come back and I'll drive you there because I know we only have one car. And I know this is a really important event for you to go to for the future of your job, right? Because your boss is going to be there and everyone's going to be there. You're like, cool, perfect. You can finish work early. You can get here, drive me there, and I'll be all good. And then in the time that you rely on him when you need him the most, you can't count on him because he forgets and fumbles and stumbles and is like, oh, I had a really busy day at work. And then he just never shows up to pick you up there, and you don't get this job because you couldn't show up there on time because you were counting on him to drive you there and he was still at work. And so it sounds small in theory, but when those habits build up over time, they manifest themselves in different ways in your relationship. And a lot of times, you're not always going to be able to foresee how those things will manifest themselves. Okay, someone said unreliable. Precisely, right? That man is unreliable, and you can't count on him to actually do what he said he was going to do. And that's not good. That's not going to work for your relationship. It's also not going to be exactly what our next point is going to be here. It actually perfectly flows into our next point and why it's so important that I want you to be thinking about in your relationships. And daughter of mine, this is so important. It's so important. Please listen to this. Please. Point number 7 here. Okay, please. I beg you. I beg you, please pay attention to this point. Sustainability versus intensity. You will, and I'm telling you this here, okay? You will hurt yourself and the happiness of your future relationships if you focus more on intensity than you do sustainability, okay? Please. This is what I want you to understand here, okay? There is a difference between both of these, but there is one that you're more likely to lean towards because of how it makes you feel. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to understand that what your body and your emotions are going to try to get you to do actually doesn't serve you. It's a very strange thing that happens, but it happens to all of us. See, intensity is very intoxicating. It feels like being drunk. When someone can be so intense and so passionate with you, when you first meet them, you feel like you're in a fairy tale. You feel like you're being whisked away. You feel like you're in a dream. And it feels good to all of us to be swept up like you're in a music video or you're in a movie. The problem is, though, in real relationships, what you're going to realize is no one no one is capable of sustaining such a high level of music video or movie or fantasy or Wattpad level of intensity with you. It is quite literally impossible for someone to be that emotionally focused on you 24/7 for that person or that relationship to even exist. Now, that's not a bad thing. And I don't want you to think that you should stop believing in love or that love is not real or that you can't feel emotions intensely. But what I want you to understand is when you're focusing more on intensity, you will always, you'll always get tricked. Because what's going to happen when you're focusing more on intensity rather than sustainability, you're going to be focused on how you feel on a minute by minute basis. Because that intoxicating feeling is very fleeting, right? Like I said, it can't be sustained. So when you're in that mode, when you're looking for that, you only want to think about your short-term happiness to feel good in that moment like you're in that fantasy. But the problem is when you're no longer in that fantasy because it's impossible to sustain that level of intensity, you then spend the rest of your time searching for that same intoxicating feeling. And then you put yourself in this vicious cycle where because the intoxicating feeling can't last, you spend a lot of time not having this feeling. And then instead of actually focusing on what you should be focusing on, which is sustainability, you spend all of that time desperately focused on recreating that intoxicating level of intensity. And you're going in a hamster wheel. I should even put that in here, right? You will go in a hamster wheel chasing around your that same high, okay? Right? So I'll even write this here. You're chasing the high of that level of intoxicating intensity in your relationship that feels like a movie or a Wattpad story. What I want you to start doing when you go out on your dates, because eventually you're going to start dating boys, even though I don't like it. What I want you to start doing when you start dating boys, I want you to be thinking about sustainability. Why? Because sustainability is what actually has to do with okay? Sustainability is what actually has to do with your future happiness. And the thing about it is, we should even say future and, right? Future and long-term happiness, right? Because sustainability, right? And looking for sustainability in your relationships and in the qualities that you look for in the men that you're dating will always do you better for the rest of your future. And you want future and long-term happiness. You don't want to be happy for just one day, do you? I'm asking you. Do you want to be happy for one day of the year or do you want to be happy for 365 days of the year? Okay? because sustainability is what actually you should be looking for if you want to feel safe in your relationship, right? If you want to feel safe, if you want to feel seen, if you want to feel protected by your man, you need sustainability. You need those qualities in your relationship, and you need those qualities in your man. So why do I say all of these things to be looking out for when you're dating men? Why do I say be focused on sustainability? Because when you're thinking about sustainability and you're analyzing the information being given to you on your dates, you'll be analyzing it from the perspective of how does what is going on right now either serve or do a disservice to the future of my relationship. Meaning, if I were to continue to see this same action, right, for the next couple of years or the next couple of decades, would I be happy or unhappy? And if I would be unhappy, right, with if I'm unhappy with the things that are going on right now, in future's time, will this thing be even worse? What is the outlook on this situation based on how it's going right now? These are the things I know it's not fun to think about. I know it's not like a movie, it's not like a fantasy, it's not like a Wattpad story. But these are the things that are the most important, because when you start dating looking for sustainability, you start making decisions for future you. And then you want to know who ends up being the happiest? Future you. When you make decisions for intensity, you're making decisions for the short-term you. But you want to know who ends up being the most unhappy and the most miserable? Future you, because future you looks back on the decisions that, short-term you made for intensity purposes and says, damn, I really wish I didn't make that decision or choose that guy. Because yeah, it was super intense. Yeah, it was super intoxicating, but also that was very unsustainable. And now that I'm not with that guy, because you never end up with that guy that's intoxicating. Now that I'm not with that guy, I'm chasing the high of that same level of intensity in my relationship. But it's a lost cause, because even when you find it again, it's fleeting. Because it's impossible for someone to maintain that level of intensity with you and actually have a life of their own. And like I said, that doesn't mean that love isn't real, and that doesn't mean that your happiness is not possible. It also doesn't mean that you'll never experience passion. You will, but you'll experience passion in a way that is sustainable for the long term. So the level of intoxicating passion you might experience might not come so intense that you feel like you're literally in a dream. And even when it does come, that might not be every day, every second of the day. But that's okay. Okay? That's perfectly fine. And that's perfectly natural. You don't have to feel like you're intoxicated by the love you have with someone every second of the day. That doesn't speak to whether you're actually in love or not. What you want to be thinking about is your sustainable version of love that you can have for many, many years and decades until you pass away. Not the one that you can have that looks like an episode of Euphoria where you're with a guy like Jake and you're, I don't know, Maddie. And yeah, it sounds good, it feels good, it looks good in a music video, but music videos are only about 2 to 3 minutes long. Do you want 2 to 3 minute long love? Or do you want 2 to 3 decade long love? All right? I would assume you want the decade long love. And so my point being is always look out for sustainability in your relationship. Be thinking about that. And also when you're analyzing the men that you're dating, be analyzing them from the standpoint of, is the type of person you are and the type of character you have, is this sustainable for me and the type of relationship that I want? If it's not, I should probably not be investing myself in you because it's a waste of your time. Okay? Does that make sense to all of you? Do you guys have any questions about the 7 that we discussed today? Okay, I know we did a lot. There was a lot to take in. Men are the same everywhere. Rich men are players too. The devaluation trick, sacrifice nothing. Men who are directionless. The habits and the sustainability versus intensity. If you missed any of them and you're on TikTok, don't worry. On my YouTube page, which is just above my head on the top right corner of the screen, you can go there and type in my name on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube at the same time as I'm live on TikTok, and you'll be able to find this stream. and you can rewatch it and rewind it, and you'll be able to get all of the points that we discussed, okay? Does that make sense, right? I hope that makes sense to you guys. Flower says, you can't find someone else. What you need to find is in yourself. He needs to be a complement to your happiness, not your whole happiness. Precisely, right? But when you're younger or even a little bit less emotionally mature, you might feel this, right? One time or two times or every now and again, and think to yourself, oh, well, that's what love is supposed to be like. It's supposed to intoxicate me and feel like a fantasy and look like an episode of Euphoria, but it's not, because it's very unsustainable to be in a relationship like that, because no one can make you feel like you're in a dream 24/7. And the people that want to make you feel like that's what a relationship will look like are only lying to you to take advantage of you. Okay, unfortunately, right? And we want to help you look out for the people who are trying to take advantage of you. Like I said, there are plenty of good men. There are also plenty of bad men. It's not about the fact that there are no good men, but what can become very challenging is to decipher the difference between the good ones and the bad ones, especially when they're everywhere, not just in your city, not just in the USA, not just in Miami. There are a lot of bad ones in Miami. And not just in anywhere else, right? They're also in all the places you could possibly go, both sides. So you have to get good at deciphering information and figuring out what you want and what you're looking for, so that you don't end up wasting a lifetime or many years of your life on a guy who is not what you're looking for. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Miss J says, Thompson, you are smart and well-spoken, very intelligent. Thank you very, very, very much. Okay. You guys like that? An episode of Euphoria? An episode of Euphoria? It really do be feeling like that, right? Someone said earlier, she said, what if he doesn't have money to take me out right now? Well, here's the thing. You have a decision that you can make for yourself. I'm not going to tell you simply because a guy doesn't have money, you shouldn't date him. But what I will say to that is, if that guy doesn't have money and he's telling you he wants to get to a better place in his life, and then you're observing his actions and you're seeing that while he says he wants to get to a better place, he's continuing to sit on his butt and play video games, you're better off not wasting your time. Because remember, and this is why it's such a great conversation, these 7 truths apply to so many things. I told you about habits. So when you hear a man saying he wants to do this and he wants to do that and he wants to be here and be there, and you're noticing that his habits aren't in line with where he says he wants to be, now you know for sure that guy's not going to be there. You don't get to become a millionaire or even just a averagely above average successful man by sitting on your butt playing video games. So if that guy is broke and doesn't have money to take you out, but you don't see him working towards the outcome of having money, he's never going to have money, because his habit is to sit on his butt and play video games. Okay? So that's why habits are so important to take notice of, because that's what's actually going to help you understand where he's going to be in his future. There is no question, if a man is not working towards his goals through his habits on a daily basis, he will never magically get there. So don't wait on guys to change or to become the guy you're looking for if you're noticing that his habits are nowhere near, to get him where you think where he says he wants to be. Okay? Does that make sense? Nicole donates $10 in the YouTube chat. She says, it was perfect. Thank you, Tomisin, for everything you do and for going into dad mode. As you know, I'm always in auntie mode. I love the adopted family vibe. Thank you so much, Nicole, for your donation. I appreciate you. Also, thank you, Rosie, as well, for your donation, and Champagne Mommy as well. I appreciate you guys on TikTok as well. Okay? Does that make sense? Null says, oh my God, I fell for this. I fell for number 4. Listen to this man, ladies. Needed to hear this 2 years ago. It's okay. We all get here at the time that we're supposed to be here. I'm here for you now, and I'm here damn near every day, okay? Someone says a very important question. What's the difference between sustainability and consistency? Well, sustainability is consistent, right? Now, consistency is going to be slightly different for everyone, meaning consistency might not be going out on a date with you every single day from when he first meets you. So what you want to do is be patient enough to allow men to show you what their level of consistency is. Now, obviously, there's a drop off there where if you're going to be consistent once every month, that's not consistency. That's sustainable for a relationship. Okay, so there's kind of like a balancing act there in understanding. Hey, I want a sustainable relationship. A sustainable relationship isn't us having conversation once every month. Okay. And kind of balancing what your needs are, what is required for you in a relationship with a pattern or a schedule that is possible to maintain over the course of time, right? So, for example, seeing someone every single day, all day, 24 hours a day, and having them sleeping over all the time, that's not even a maintainable version of a relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? You can't, if you don't, you're not married to someone, you can't possibly maintain spending all day with them and, let's say skipping work or calling in sick to be with them. That's just unsustainable. That's never what a real long-term relationship would look like. And so when your mind is starting to think about sustainability, you're also going to be thinking about, is what we're doing here even possible to maintain for the length of our relationship? If it's not, then you have to start questioning yourself and what you're doing here. Because if you're living in this world or in this bubble with this man in a way that literally you can't possibly maintain for the length of the relationship, then why are you doing it? Because at some point it's going to stop. And when it stops, will the way you feel or he feels about the relationship change? Everything you do has to be thought of from the context of how is this going to fit into the future of our relationship. If you're not thinking about that, then you're only thinking about short-term happiness. And if you're only thinking about short-term happiness, then one day you'll turn around and say, everything we've been doing was for nothing because eventually our relationship ended. Okay? Does that make sense? Jazzy Aura says, what about intuition? How do you know if you have a good feeling about a guy or if it's just a feeling? Well, this actually is exactly what the Players Club is for, because when I talk to you about some of the stuff that guys will do to you, they'll say to you to incite feelings, to elicit emotion out of you, it helps you better understand, oh, is this actually my intuition telling me this is a good guy, or is this him implanting something within me that's making me feel like, oh, I should think this is a good guy, okay? Right? For example, when a guy tells you, oh, I'm in Italy and we love to treat our women so well here. We have respect. We're way better than these men from Miami. I don't know how the men from Miami do it. In Italy, we do this for our women. We do that for our women. We do that for our women. I guess we're just different. As soon as you start believing in that idea or that ideology, you're now falling for the trap. Because the men are the same everywhere, whether in Italy, whether in France, whether in Belgium, Nigeria, in Miami, in LA, everywhere they're the same. Do not convince yourself that they're different simply because of their location. That's when the guys can step into your life and say, oh, now that your walls are down, I got you. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that and don't make that mistake, right? Someone says Laura, right? You're an OG. You're an OG, right? Laura is definitely right. We'll have a whole show where we break down Laura because it's a very important acronym and kind of strategy to live by, right? Valerie says, who did you date in Miami, Tomisin? No, I didn't date no one in Miami, but we know how Miami be, okay? Half the people that be partying in Miami don't live there, and they're there for a very specific reason, to have fun. Nothing wrong with having fun, but you can't have fun forever, okay? And you can have fun, but in different ways at least. So that you just have to understand that. And we know Miami's not the place to go find someone that you're gonna marry. Not that we can't all have fun there, but it gets wild. If you know, you know, okay? If you know, you know. If you don't, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just go to Miami when you want to have fun. That's all you need to know. Null says I did exactly this, and you gotta listen, ladies. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Cash Money says, are you not on YouTube? No, I'm on YouTube right now. I'm on YouTube right now as we speak. All right, chat. Let's hop into our next segment of the day. Our next segment is very fun. It's very amazing. It's our React segment of the day. And I'm going to be reacting to all of these different TikTok videos that you guys sent to me around town. And I'm going to be reacting to them. We're going to watch them together. It's like scrolling through TikTok, but with me. Okay, a very, very good time. All right, so while I clean up here, you know, I got lots of stuff going on, notes and everything. I'm going to play you all a video in our intermission time, so you're not just watching me clean up. Our intermission video today comes from the Wizard Liz, and it's actually a story of why she ended her relationship. So it's kind of in line with what we're talking about today. So the Wizard Liz, please, please take it away. And we'll start discussing some of these videos that you guys sent to me here. Okay, where is this? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Are you trying to play me here? There we go. All right, let's go into our first video, which is this one.
So I've been crying, so you can see. I'm hurt, guys. Yo, I am so hurt. So I had been single for a year. Yeah, I've been single. After my last relationship ended, I just took time to myself. I wasn't planning on staying a whole year, you know. I wasn't planning on that, you know. I just wanted to take some time to myself, get to know myself all over again, because my last relationship did a number on me, right? So I got carried away, and then I ended up being single for a year. I met a man recently, 2 weeks ago, and we started talking. I'm 90, calling. 2 days after talking, actually, he said he has a trip, he has a work trip, and he'd like for me to go with him. I went with him because I was off on that week. I was not working. So I thought, why not? This will give us some time to get to know each other more. We went on the trip. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Well, at least for me. 2 days after we came back from the trip, Jita started being cold. Started ignoring me. This was last week. He started ignoring me. Hi, Bo. I tried talking to him. I asked him, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? He said, no, you did nothing wrong. It's just that, we are Saba, right? And I told him, Guti, as much as you are scared, I'm also scared. But like, we spoke, and the agreement was that we would like to try something. We would like to try something. Sibon Guti siapi.
For those of you who are wondering, I believe she's South African, so I believe she's going in and out of, I guess you could call it pidgin, right? So her native language. That's why sometimes she's saying things and we don't know what she's saying.
Yeah. And then we carried on. We carried on until I realized, Guti, actually, I'm the one starting conversations. This man would be online, a poster, and not say anything to me. So this morning, literally this morning, he posted a picture of himself. Very sexy man. He's a very sexy man. I wish I can show you guys, but yeah, poppy acts and stuff. Omuntu, I said to him, so am I the only one who wants to talk to you? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, if I don't text you, you don't text me. I've realized that. He was like, Aike. Just like that. And then it went back to me trying to understand, Guti, did I do something wrong? Like, what's wrong, Gahle? Guy is ignoring me since this morning, since that last text that he sent me. He hasn't said anything to me. I've tried asking ukuthi, okay, when you're not busy, can we like meet sizokhuluma,
Oh no.
so that I understand ukuthi what went wrong
Oh
from
no.
the day we spent together, the 2 days that we spent together, to you wanting absolutely nothing to do with me. What went wrong? I can't believe I allowed myself to get hurt like this after a year. I've been single for a year, guys, and I still can't get it right. I should have seen right through him, but I didn't. I am an idiot like that when it comes to love. I catch very easy, and I just want you guys to tell me that Nizoba right, because I'm not okay. I've been crying this whole morning. I've literally been crying this whole morning. I need right. I ain't right at all, and it has gotten to a point whereby I told my friend Uguti, even when a genuine guy comes, I'm not gonna see Uguti is genuine.
Okay. There are some important things that I want us to take note of here. One is very obvious, but the second is actually not so obvious. Okay. I know that it hurts to get played, and I know it feels horribly. You have to put your energy in the places that will yield you the best result. I understand being upset. I understand being emotional. We've all been there. But unfortunately, there are ways to go about expressing your feelings, at least to someone or to people that care about you, your well-being, and your happiness. Unfortunately, going to TikTok, and I get she's telling a story, that's beside the point. But saying, hey guys, tell me I'm okay and tell me, make me feel better for the internet is never going to work. And the reason I say this, those of you who are not watching on who are not watching on YouTube won't be able to see this, but I will show you behind the curtain here, and show you guys what essentially let me make sure I put this in the right thing here. I want to show you guys. Can I do this? Okay. So if I scroll here, you're going to see for them on YouTube, they can see this, but she put in her bio as her caption, please tell me I'll be fine. I'm so mad at myself. Anything, because how did I allow this to happen? Right? She said that in her caption. The comments are now turned off. Why are the comments turned off? Because, as you can probably assume, nobody actually helped her. Okay? And nobody actually cared about her well-being or her happiness there. And Kara just said it, now your self-esteem's in the trash, okay? So it's not simply just about not bringing your stuff online, because I know obviously you guys ask me Discord questions and I actually care and want to help you and advise you. But just understand sometimes bringing your problems to the internet as a whole is not actually going to be beneficial to you. That's just like a little side note that I want you to take notice of, because I seen this here and I'm sure, obviously she didn't appreciate everything that people were saying in the comments, which is why she turned it off. But here's the other reality here is that anytime you allow guys to convince you that they are your perfect man or an amazing man before you actually see that from them, it will always be a mistake. And actually, it perfectly coincides with our last point of the day today, which is sustainability versus intensity. And I get, she didn't inherently try to do something wrong by going on a work trip with him, but I always think that you should be feeling guys out. And I don't think for a first meeting, it's ever a good idea to put yourself in a situation where he has all of the power and control, meaning you're going to a place that he's familiar with, you're going on his work trip with him, you're packing your stuff, and, you're inconveniencing yourself for him. Right? Especially at the very beginning when you're still feeling out what do you want here and what do you want out of this relationship. And I know it sounds really mean, But you have to also understand you're a woman, right? And so you kind of have to protect yourself. It's also a safety thing, and look out for the fact that you just don't know what men are capable of, right? You don't. And until you know, you kind of have to play it safe and feel and suss and kind of, I say suss out, but feel out men on what they're like and what their type of vibe before you start pouring any level of commitment or energy into them, truthfully and honestly.
I'm gonna say it one time, and I ain't gonna say it no more, but I maybe have to say it again because obviously y'all are not listening. You never ask another man about another female. You never go to another female about another man. What are y'all doing? That gives Insecure 101. I have never in my 26 years of living ever messaged a woman about a man. That shows me right there you can't get another one. You are insecure. Insecurities seeping through because you didn't think you were good enough for that man to keep around in the first place. That's why you went ahead and messaged another woman about another man. I'm not ever coming to no woman as another woman about another man, baby, when I can get up and go get me another one. That's the thing. See, a lot of y'all feel like y'all can't get another one because y'all confidence level is at the floor. Get your confidence up and stop centering that man and decenter that man and put yourself first. Put yourself and work on that pedestal. My grandma used to always say, my grandma was married for years, okay? 40 plus years. Anyways, like I said, my grandma used to always say, don't give no man no wings when he can't fly. And now when I used to hear that, I used to say, what does she mean by that? Now I understand what she means. She's saying, stop putting a man on a pedestal when he can't even do half of the things that you want him to do for you. Because you done put him up here, and now when he did something to you, made you sad, cheated on you, hurt your feelings or whatever, now your confidence is way down here. Now you done forgot who you really are because you done put that man above yourself. You done put that man up so high that now you can't even see straight. You ain't eating right. You ain't living right. Because you have centered that man. Your whole world is around him, and he knows that. So he's using that to his leverage. You never let a man feel like he has that much control and power over you. Whatever power or feeling that he has over you, pull that back and put it into yourself.
Which one's a better accent, the deep South accent or English accent, like a European accent? Which one, chat? Which one do you think is better? She has a deep South accent. Her South accent is very intense. I like it though. So here's the thing. I'll even add a little bit of a caveat to this. If you are going to message another woman, girl to girl, okay, just wanted to let you know, right? You should only be sending another girl a message to gather more information. And if you are not prepared to actually take action on the information you gather, don't waste your time. Okay? What I mean by that is, if you're messaging another girl that you think is like the secret girlfriend and you're trying to gather more information on the secret girlfriend to just ensure that what you think is going on is actually going on, you better be ready to drop the hammer once you find out the truth. Those of you, okay, this is the thing that really grinds my gears. Do not message another girl to see if he's doing something behind your back, just to confront him about it, and hopefully that when you call him out, he'll stop doing it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Don't waste your life force. When you gather the information and let's say you realize he's got 2 girlfriends, you just say, oh, perfect. Now I have my information that I need. I'm just going to break up with him. You can mention that you gathered this information in the process of breaking up with him, but your decision should already be made. You shouldn't be in the business of, oh, I'm going to call him out on what I caught him doing. And then hopefully when he gets caught, he'll break up with the other girl or stop talking to the other girl or apologize to me or whatever the case is, right? You arm yourself with information, but you act on it. So even if you are messaging a girl because you're noticing some things and you want to be sure that you don't come with your gun half cocked, right, so to speak, once you find your information, you act on it accordingly. You don't find your information and then start going back and forth with him after you already caught him doing the thing. Okay? So let me be very specific with that, right? And if you're already in a situation where you know he's doing you dirty, don't be messy. God forbid. God forbid you waste your life force away when you already know he's doing you crazy, messaging other girls and telling them about this and telling them, just move on. Just move on. Okay.
If there is one hill that I will die on, it is that great boyfriends are not born, they are made. Despite what you have heard,
I actually believe this.
the majority of men, especially healthy, healed, mentally stable men, they want to make the woman in their life happy. But here's the thing. A lot of them don't know how to make you happy versus how to make his ex happy versus how to make another girl happy. You have to give a man the map of how to make you happy. Because men, as little boys, they were bred to be achievers and to be successful and like to strive for that. So if he feels like no matter how much effort and energy he puts into you, he's unsuccessful, then eventually men just kind of throw their hands up and they're like, I can't do it. It's not fun. I don't like it. But smart women, they move differently. They know that if they can provide a man with the directions of how to make them happy, then they feel happy and then the man feels happy making them happy. It's kind of like training a dog. I didn't say that, but I mean, it is similar. It is similar. And the best formula to do this is to reward his good behavior when he does something you like. So when he buys you the flowers, when he texts you good morning, giving him that appreciation. Oh, I love it when you send me flowers. It makes my day. Oh, God, I love when you think of me in the morning and you send me a text. It literally makes my morning so much better. Positive feedback, reward. Plus, when he does something you don't like, here's where women get it wrong. They nag. They feed him energy. No. When you nag a man, you're only perpetuating that behavior. When he does something you don't like, you pull back your energy. You literally ignore it. You're bored by it. If he forgets to plan a dinner date with you this week, you're not waiting around for him. You're not calling him sobbing about it. You're making plans with your girlfriends or anything else because you're bored with his lack of effort. If he said he was going to call and he doesn't call, the hot girl doesn't even notice. She goes to bed, she ignores his call, she mirrors his behavior. She's not crying, asking him why he doesn't care, begging him to care about her, literally saying like, pick me in parentheses. No, none of you on this channel are allowed to do that anymore. And the irony is when you have this mentality, men are begging to be with you. This is literally like magnetic to men. This is that black cat energy that all women strive for. And this is how you get that man to treat you right.
So the other thing that I also want to add as a caveat as well, because I do believe that you kind of like make a man and they get taught how to treat a woman well. I believe that because I believe it to be true for myself as well. Unfortunately, depending on who you are or where you are at in your life and where he's at in his life and his experience in other relationships, you might be the one preparing him for another woman, or you might be the one receiving all of the training he's gotten from his past relationships. Okay. So while this is very true, there also is a balance to that, meaning that you have to be able to recognize, am I doing all the work for him to go off and be with someone else? Or are we actually moving in a positive, progression here? And that's something you have to kind of take notice of over the course of the relationship by noticing or focusing on, are things improving? When I train him and I teach him this, do things improve and get better and stop being issues? Or are we just going in circles all the time? Because if you're going in circles all the time, that's one of the situations where the only time he'll realize that he needed to make a change is when you're actually gone. Then he'll, think about stuff and analyze stuff, and then he'll make that change or adjustment for maybe the next woman. But unfortunately, if he's not capable of making those adjustments and then things progress and get better over time, then you're just in a hamster wheel. At which case, you're just essentially preparing him to be a better man for the next woman. And you might as well just cut your losses. So it's something to take notice of there. But I do believe that guys don't just wake up ready and capable and understanding completely of how to be a great man and to please a woman. They get taught that over the course of time and through their experiences. And then they eventually they reach a threshold of emotional maturity and understanding to be able to be a great partner. I believe that simply because I've experienced that myself, and I've seen it with other guy friends as well. Okay.
Let me tell you something. I need you guys to watch this next scene right here.
Because this is where I'm broken. I hope one day I can fix this.
I saw this scene and all I thought to myself was, girl, do not answer that question, or at least do not tell him the truth. And guess what?
That I'm broken.
I hope
This is where I'm broken. Reason. Because this is where I'm broken.
I hope one day I can fix this.
I saw this scene and all I thought to myself was, girl, do not answer that question, or at least do not tell him the truth. And guess what?
This is for me childish. It shows he's not ready for مسؤولية. I would never chase a man اللي ما عطاني قدر يكلمني قبل ما يفل.
Bro, he literally did exactly what she said was her biggest fear. She said if a man leaves me for no reason, and he left for no reason.
I actually think that if you want to change your perspective or see a different perspective a little bit, you should watch Love is Blind Habibi. The culture, drastically different. I've watched this. This is a very interesting study on relationships and culture, because in this culture here, right, in the Arab culture, they do not kiss or sleep in the same bed with the people that they are marrying. So when they propose to each other on the show, you'll notice that when they all meet each other, nobody kisses, not anyone, and not all of them are Muslim. Some of them are Christian. Nobody kisses. That's not the culture, and none of them, even after they get married even after they get engaged, I should say, none of them sleep in the same bed. Very interesting, actually, and so. It's funny because even though their culture is slightly different, the way that they go about stuff is slightly different, still a lot of the concepts on the things that you should avoid doing apply as well. And even in this scenario, when you're meeting guys, you don't want to come out and trauma dump. I know makes you feel safe, makes you feel protected, makes you feel good. But we want you to be like a faucet where you trickle out some truthful information about you every now and again, and you see what he does with that. See whether it gets thrown back in your face or whether he uses it against you. And once you learn to trust him over the course of time, that's when you give him the deeper stuff. And I know that sounds a little bit complicated, but you do have to be guarded when you date men, you date in general. Because if you're not, you'll just literally just tell them whatever you're feeling, whatever's on your mind, whatever your traumas are. They'll take that information and they'll say, perfect, now I know exactly how to push your buttons and hurt you. Because you never really know what those men are capable of or what their intentions are, even if you're on Love is Blind. Okay. Very, very interesting study if you watch that show. Very, very different from the American one.
These are my rules for dating as a 35-year-old woman who has been married twice and is looking for something very specific. Number 1, 6 dates before intimacy. Right out the gate, I'm going to tell the guy, I'm going to be super honest and transparent about it because I don't want him to keep on trying to come on to me and feel rejected. And I also want him to know, like, this is going to be a long-term investment. If he's not down for the long haul, then see you later. Number 2, if and when we do hook up, we always sleep in the same.
Let me pause it first because she just started with something I want to address. I personally think as a man, it doesn't really serve a lot. I get what she's saying in terms of why she just comes out and says it, 6 days, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing. See, when you set a date, right? Meaning that, hey, only up until 6 dates before I will hook up with you or whatever, you put that man's mind on exactly that time frame. So you do two things that are not good, I think, in my estimation. You set that man's mind on a specific date where he can actually be able to sleep with you. Actually, it's kind of 3 things. You also set yourself up for having a guy literally show you just enough of what you want to see for the exact time period that you're looking to see that. And then he understands after that point, after I reach that point, now I'm able to get access to her fully. So you're actually like, Features just said it in the YouTube chat, you're actually like preparing him for what's to come and making it easier for him to align himself with exactly what you're looking for, which is actually horrible for you. And then the third thing there is actually doing something that you don't want, which is presenting your relationship as if, oh, well, until you reach these amount of days, you're not going to get full investment from me. I know that sounds kind of strange, but then the men then say to themselves, okay, perfect. Until I get to those amount of days, you also won't get my full investment or effort. Because why would I try to do more things knowing that I'm not going to get any results until this particular day? And this can become a really jumbled up mess and very confusing for you. What's best for you to do is to do our acronym LAURA: listen, observe, receive, and analyze, and let men show up for you in the exact way that they believe is right, that they believe they should be showing up for you, and see what they're like then. That's when you get an honest look into who he really is, what he's really like, and how he goes about relationships. Then you're not tricked down the line or on the 7th date when you actually have slept with him now thinking, damn, wait, so you were just doing all of this to get to date number 6 and now we're on date number 7 and now you're a totally different person on date number 8? It kind of doesn't serve you how you think it's going to serve you by just coming out and telling him exactly how many dates to wait until you're going to sleep with him. Okay. Unfortunately, like I always say, the person with the most information wins and the person with the least information always loses. So you got to be careful about letting go of so much information with the guys that you're dating that you allow them to be able to be very prepared for what to expect from you and how to get more access to you.
The same bed every time. I need to be spooned and kissed like right here way more than I need a wham bam thank you ma'am moment. My house is not a restaurant nor a hotel. For some reason, once you start hooking, if he's not down for the long haul, then see you later. Number 2, if and when we do hook up, we always sleep in the same bed. Every time. I need to be spooned and kissed like right here way more than I need a wham bam thank you ma'am moment. My house is not a restaurant nor a hotel. For some reason, once you start hooking up with guys, they start to think, oh, I don't need to take her out on dates anymore. We can just do movie nights every single fucking weekend. No. If you want to see me, make a plan. When we enter into a dating scene, you have 2 months until both of us can collectively decide if we're either going to wind up pursuing something more intentional and serious or just be friends. I don't have 6 months to a year to be trapped in a fucking situationship getting my feelings hurt. The fastest way to get rid of me is by going days without speaking to me. If you can't send a simple good morning text, if you can't check in with me and say sweet dreams, if I don't know when the next time I'm going to see you is and already a few days have passed, if it's between me and another girl, do us all a favor and choose her, because I will not be competing for a grown man's attention. A couple superficial rules that I have just because of my own trauma is I will never date a Scorpio male. I will never date someone that's younger than me. A question that...
Chat, we have to have a discussion here. Because I love you all. I love you all so much, and I want the best for you. I really do. I'm gonna say something that's gonna hurt some of your feelings. Okay. While I do, I think that birth charts actually are very interesting because they are so specific that there's got to be something to it. I won't say I'm a non-believer of astrology. I'm open to all things. However, if you start to play in your mind a narrative in which one star sign is not the type of person I'm looking for, but another star sign is the type of person I'm looking for, you're playing yourself. You're doing exactly what we talked about today, just in a different format. Like how we talked about, hey, don't convince yourself that all the good men live in Costa Rica or Nigeria or Jamaica or Miami, and all the bad men live in LA, live in New York, live in Italy, live in London, okay? Don't do that, because when you meet men, you're gonna meet both good and bad men everywhere. You're gonna meet both good and bad men that are Scorpios, Cancers, Taurus, Aquariuses, every star sign. You're gonna meet good and bad men. We need to focus your energy on analyzing the men that you're meeting, all of them, rather than thinking, hey, only all the bad men are Scorpios. All the good men for me are Taurus. All the bad men are Cancers. All the good men for me are Aquarius. So what happens? The Aquarius comes into your life. I'm a good man just like you thought I was. Oh, I know all the Aquarius men are amazing. You sleep with them and then he's like, oh, actually, I'm not one of those good Aquarius men, but bye now. I love you guys, but you gotta don't trick yourself into thinking a man is good because of a star sign, a location, a culture, whatever. You know that he's good based on your experience with him.
And I will always ask a guy before he brings me out is, what kind of car do you drive? I know that sounds superficial. However, it's better than asking, do you have a car? Second question that I'll always ask is, do you have any roommates? If so, are they related to you? Much nicer than asking, do you live with your parents? And no shade if you do. Like, a lot of people do live with their parents and it's great. And he's helping each other. Hard times out there. But I need to know, like, if I'm showing up at your house, what to expect. And the last one, which is pretty heavy, but I just need to be real because I have goals that I need to achieve before a certain age. If you don't want kids, we will never be together. The last non-negotiable, if you don't like small dogs and if you don't bond with my dog, good night. These are my rules for dating.
Those last few were preferences. That's perfectly fine. The only ones that I really had a problem with were her telling guys how many dates it's going to be before intimacy, and then also telling guys or convincing she has her own narrative that she just doesn't date Scorpio men. I get it. It's, you know, she said that it's from her own past experiences and trauma, but allowing that to shape whether or not you feel how you feel about a new man, I just think is a little bit misguided, because I'm sure if she thinks that she isn't going to be dating a Scorpio man, I guarantee you, because trust me, I've met a whole range of people. I know that as soon as someone starts saying, I don't date Scorpio men, or I don't date Taurus men, or this Cancer man, they immediately say, oh, my type is, and blank, whatever type of astrology sign. I get along so well with Taurus men. I get along so well with Cancer men. I get along so well with Aquarius men, right? And so just that fast, you've now built a narrative in your mind that all the good men are this star sign and all the bad men are this star sign. Then you can get played that way. Okay. We don't want that for you. What is going on? What the hell? Okay. Sorry. Let's go on to our next one. Okay.
Ladies, the next time the man that you're talking to tells you, I just want to be friends, you reply to him with, thank God you said it first. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Now he's mind fucked, and you just gave him back all his self-confidence problems. Ladies, the next time the man that you're talking to tells you, I just want to be friends, you reply to him with, thank God you said it first. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Now he's mind fucked, and you just gave him back all his self-confidence problems.
It's funny, but in reality, just don't respond, right? Or just you'd be like, okay, right? Just don't give it energy. Don't give energy to things that aren't what you want. Just let's stop doing that, okay? Toxic games are fun. You know, when we're 19, we're 18, you know, right? And they're fun when we're in high school. We want to live like we're on an episode of Euphoria. When you're an adult, you need to learn to give your energy only to things that serve you. If they stop serving you, you don't give them any energy whatsoever. Okay, very simple.
You finna get in the shower without me? I mean, we really ain't gotta go out. You just come over here and chill. Nah, but for real, like, when you gonna come cook for me? You finna get...
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's actually a good representation of what I just said, right? When things don't serve you, stop giving them energy. Very simple. Very simple.
As a woman who respects herself in this dating game, you're big.
Nah, you know, Bets, whenever she comes on here, she's oiled up, she's shining, right? Her face is glowing. It's a flex, I'm telling you. She's secretly flexing her skincare routine on you every time she posts a video, okay? I'm telling you, Bets be flexing on y'all with the skincare routine.
To be women that don't. Like it or love it, men like to sex without any commitment and any responsibility. And contrary to a lot of women's popular belief, men do not date looking for a relationship. Most men, anyway. Most of the time, when you meet a man, he is on vibes. And through taking time to get to know him, conversating, spending time together, as a woman, you can get a man to start to fall for you. However, that was never his plan. For most men, relationships catch them off guard. But what you need to understand as a woman who respects herself and respects her body is that for every one of you, there are 20 girls who do not. Men like to sleep with women as quick as possible. There are plenty of women who don't mind sleeping with men on the first night. Men like to have situations without responsibility. There are plenty of women that do not mind being side chicks. Men like to spend as little money as possible entertaining women when they're entertaining multiple women. There are plenty of women who love, code for snatch, don't cost a thing. So when I say to you, hold out, take time, make a man invest in you, and then men are in the comments saying no, 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 of course they're going to say that because they want access to you quickly. However, if you meet a good man and you are a woman who respects herself, it is like a shock to the system. When he's used to laying it all out, being romantic, friendly, kind, jokey, whatever type of man you're dealing with, and he's thinking by day 2, 3, 4, he's going to get the goods because that's how it always happens, and he doesn't get the goods, he is confused. For a second, he's stuck. And in that time where he is stuck and therefore on pause, that is your time to shine. That is your time to get to know him. That is your time to show him what kind of woman you are. That is your time to show what kind of value you add to his life and to the relationship. Because men are greedy, and like all human beings, they are selfish. So they always want what is good for them and what is the best for them. So if they start to see that you add value to their life, you make their life happier, more peaceful, you challenge them in a good way, you add, happiness to their life, they are not going to want to let you go. And the reality is, if he wants you and your present is dependent on his commitment, baby girl, he's going to commit. Okay? So, like I always say, there's
Oh, sorry. I wanted to add something as well. When guys say that they want peace, I want to make something very clear. I don't think that men want peace in the format of you just not speaking up for yourself and not telling him how you actually feel or anything like that. The peace that I believe men are actually referring to, because a lot of times they don't know what they actually want. Excuse me. Is the peace of mind in knowing that you have someone in your life and in your corner that you can rely on, that you can love on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, and has your back. That is peace, because you want to know what's stressful as a man, chasing after women and putting all your time and energy into them only to realize that they don't really care about you. That's stressful. So what I think the peace that men are referring to is to be able to have someone in their corner, right? That actually they feel like cares about them as much as, they care about that person. I don't believe that the peace that they're referring to is that you should just shut up, not speak, and not say anything or have any opinions, right? That's more like having a slave. That's not really peace. Now, some men could be saying that because they actually just want you to shut up and not have an opinion, but I don't think that actually will make them more attracted to you. I think that actually will make them less attracted to you over the course of time. So when you do that, it's just, you're not really going to see any, good results from that, okay? All right, chat, let's hop into our next segment of the day, which is our special segment. Okay. For those of you who know what's going on, you better spam it up in the chat. It's a very, very important part of the show, and it's our last segment of the show. It's so amazing. Please, please, please don't look at your clock. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your home. It's a special time. It's an amazing time, and it's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry, okay? If you don't know, I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, chat. Let's hop into our Discord choking on my spit there. No, did he? Let's hop into our Discord segment of the show here. For those of you who don't know what this is, Discord time is essentially where all the members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, there are a few ways for you to submit your question, and we're going to have a few new ways for next week. And so one of the first ways here is to submit it into our free section. Please, okay, I'm going to make this very clear. Go into the TikTok bio, and then you click our Discord, there where it says Players Club Discord. You go in there and you can post your question in our free section here. Okay, it's pretty simple. Then you get an opportunity to be in line here, and you can see these highlighted questions. These are questions I haven't gone to yet, and I'm going to get to your question once I finish these other ones on a first come, first serve basis. Now, if you have a question for me, but you don't want to wait so long for your question to get answered, and you want it to be the next 24 hours, or maybe by tomorrow at the very least, or even today, you go into our premium relationship advice section, which is like an expedited process where you get to ask your question and you get to skip the line of people. Now, I'll make this very clear. When you get into the section, the way you do that, you have to first donate to the show. How you do that is by going into that same link in my bio on TikTok or on YouTube. If you're in the description there, you go to where it says premium relationship advice or premium Discord relationship advice, and then you click that, and then you'll be prompted to donate to the show and put in your Discord username and the title of your question. And then I know that that's you because I get a notification on my phone. I can see that, verify it's you, and then I'm able to read off your question because you get to skip the line of people. It's like a skip the line pass, right? And so there's that. There's also a way to submit your question if you don't want me to read it out in front of everyone and everyone to know your information. You can send in a question to our private relationship advice section here in our Discord, and I will get back to you once you fill out the question. I'll get back to you via your email, and that will only be between you and me, and I'll send you a voice message to your email. You also have the option for next week. If you want to ask me a question over video chat, we're going to be doing that next week in the Discord, okay? So Missy America handles that in the Discord, or you can also message me as well if you have, message Missy America, honestly, because I have too many messages, I can't go through them. And we're going to organize trying to get some of you guys live on the show to ask your questions via video chat, and everyone's going to be able to see you. So just keep that in mind. All right. So let's hop into our first segment of the day, our first question of the day here from our premium section. Okay. So he's pissing me off. Nene says, "Hi, Tomisin. I hope you're doing well. I'm 20, dating a 26-year-old man. Since 2 weeks, I met him, I think you might say at work. I've been to only one date with him. I'm keeping it one date per week and keeping the texting to a minimum. Asked a lot of questions and all. Disclaimer, English is not my native language, so don't mind the writing. My problem is now that I'm seeing him again tomorrow, 1 week after 1 week and a half, and I feel like he doesn't know how to plan dates. The first time, the day before, I still didn't know where we were going, what we were going to do, and I had to say to him nicely to come back with me, come back to me. Sorry, I'm just trying to read what you're trying to say because I know you said you don't speak English. With a clear plan, or either I won't come, because he didn't even seem to know what he wanted. Then he came with a clear plan and the date went well. I'm supposed to see him tomorrow, and I told him that I was no longer available in the afternoon from 2 p.m., but that I was there in the morning. I told him last week when we made an appointment. Today, all day, there were no messages sent from him, even though he had told me yesterday that he couldn't wait to see me. But no messages, no planning, no nothing. It's the second time he does that. He answered my IG story an hour ago. Oh, this is horrible. Hey, and then asked what hour for tomorrow. He's pissing me off. What should I do? because I want to keep dating him and he's interesting, but I'm losing interest with all that stuff. How can I make him understand without telling him that he needs to plan seriously? Like, I don't feel like he's putting effort into this. You actually already did tell him. I'm already keeping texting to a minimum and asking a lot of questions. I want to understand that. I want him to understand that, but I don't want to mother him or nag him. Thanks for your time and for your advice and the high chat. Okay, so let's go up here, right? So you actually, here's the thing. We can't baby men. We can't. You have to understand that when a man really wants to do something, he'll figure out a way to do it. If it's not that important to him, he just won't put that much energy into it. So this already happened. You're saying this and that. It already happened. And the first time, the day before, you said you didn't know what was going on, and you said you had to say nicely to him to come back to you with a clear plan, or you won't come. That was you setting the ground rules and the expectations, right? That was as clear of a message as you can get. When you plan a date with me, you either make it clear what we're doing, or I'm not going. Very simple. You don't got to lose your mind, go crazy, say it multiple times. Especially at the beginning, you need to give yourself space, the opportunity to see what he would rather do. It's easy to get into the habit of telling a man, do this exactly, do that exactly, do this exactly. Then he might do it, he might not do it, he might do it halfway, but you don't get a chance to notice or see for yourself, what would he do if I wasn't nagging him or telling him exactly how to do this? How would he date me? Because the answer to that question is who he really is and what you're more likely to see for the rest of your relationship. Because if this first time that you said this wasn't enough for him to know, hey, I got to make sure I actually take notice of this and do this, then the reality of it is he's probably never going to get it. And there's no amount of you begging him to get it that he'll understand it. So I know that you want to date him, right? And you think that he's interesting. But at the end of the day, this is one of those things where you have to be thinking about what is sustainable here. Is it sustainable for me to date a man on a regular basis that can't even properly go from scheduling, planning, to executing on that plan? That's a very simple concept that he should be able to do with you. And if he can't do that with you, then you need to kind of reevaluate your relationship with him and ask yourself, is it sustainable for me to continuously have to remind him how to plan, schedule, and execute on just a date? We're not even talking about life. We're not even talking about your relationship. We're not even talking about you and him going back and forth or figuring out issues or conflict resolution. We're just talking about simply getting you on a date and executing on that. If that's already like pulling teeth, you have to be thinking to yourself, is this even sustainable? Because I don't think personally that's a sustainable way to live. If the guy that you just started dating him and he already is showing you the habit, right? The signs that he can't be reliable enough to plan a date, go from planning it to logistically scheduling it, and then actually executing on that. That is such a simple thing and such a necessity for you guys to even take the next level. And if he can't do that, I think the answer to your question here and what you should do as a response is nothing. When he now messages you what hour for the day tomorrow, just don't respond. Don't say nothing. Even when the day comes, don't say nothing. Let the entire day of the date pass. And then let him ponder on, why has she stopped responding to me altogether? Did I do something wrong? Did I offend her? Have I been acting weird? Is she just uninterested in me? Let his mind begin to ponder on what has went wrong or gone different. Then let's see if he has the emotional intelligence required to say, oh, I was doing the thing again where I didn't properly plan the date. I should apologize for that. Now, if he doesn't have that ability or that level of emotional intelligence, then you just leave him be to continue figuring that out for the rest of his life. But if he's a smart, intelligent man, you already talked to him about this once, right? He should know, hey, I'm kind of being a little bit lackadaisical with these dates here. And if I actually want some access to her, I should probably be a little bit more intentional than just, say, yeah, let's go out on a date one day. And then I'm asking her, what time are we going on? Please. You have self-respect, please. All right, let's go into our free section here. Yesterday we missed one of Sis's question. Now, sis, I see you have multiple questions in our chat here. I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions back to back to back because it's unfair to other people who've also asked questions. I know that you sent it in that order, but I want to give other people a chance to get their question answered as well. So I'm going to answer this one, and then I'm going to go up to the next different person. Advice for my other best friend. Okay, so for my other best friend, she has a boy best friend. They have been together for 2 years. He is a year younger, and she developed a crush on him. I think he is in love with her. He has told her multiple times, and she told him it back. And he always calls her gorgeous and stuff like that. The thing is, they used to hang out every day, and now he moved to another country. He is trying to convince her to move to his country, but she cannot. She does not want to leave her family. They still text a lot and FaceTime a lot. I don't know if there is a future for this. What are your thoughts? No. Okay. I'm assuming your friend is over 20 years old. If a guy is just best friends with you when you guys are together in the same city, like, that tells you what level of intentionality or desire he has to be in an actual relationship. Being best friends is not a relationship. So it's as simple as when he moves, great, you move, yeah, we'll chit chat a little bit, and eventually the friendship will fizzle out, as they all do when people move. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But the idea that your friend would move to his country is just ridiculous. I don't care how old she is. It's ridiculous. Another guy who used to like me for so many years, but I never liked him back. So you're saying this is another one of your own friends that the guy that she liked you? Okay. But I never liked him back, always tries to text me and hang out with me every few months. And she got introduced to him and she thought he was hot. And in real life, he told her that they should sing and play guitar together sometime because she sings and he plays the guitar. He slid into her DMs around 2 years prior because I tried to fix them up because I did not like him, and she replied, but nothing happened of it. This year, she texted him and asked when they were going to sing and play guitar together. Your friend actually, do you know this for sure? How would you? Okay. So he planned a plan, but she was busy, so she canceled. And then they ended up going out on multiple dates, and he called her wifey material. Your friend is reporting all of this to you? Okay. And he liked her a lot. The thing is, he also ended up in another country. Okay, so bye-bye. Go off to your country. Bye-bye. What are your thoughts on this guy? He tried texting her after he left the country, but she was very dry and would not respond to his calls, and so he stopped trying. That's fine. Honestly, majority of people in this world are not built for a long-distance relationship, let alone a long-distance friendship. So what you'll realize is when people move away, they go off and do things. Very seldom does the relationship or the friendship stay the same after they move away. In some cases, they do. Most of the time, it doesn't. That's not a crime, okay? Especially when it's just their best friends. Trust me, they'll find new best friends when they stop living close to each other. Nothing really to get too upset about there. There's also a third guy who probably had a crush on her because they were friends and they would run in the field together. Okay, how old are we talking here? What are we doing here? Because sis, unless I'm confused, I believe you're of age, meaning you're over 20. What are we talking about? Your friends and their friend would run in the field together. Okay. Chad, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. And he would send her paragraphs of how amazing she is on her birthday. But then he ended up... Get serious, chat. But then he ended up having a girlfriend, but now they broke up, and she found out from one of his relatives he had a crush. What is going on? but didn't make a move. I think this guy is completely off the table because if he wants her, he should make a move. I get it that they broke up. If a guy chooses another girl when having another girl as an option, why would she stick around to just be around when he finishes with the other girl and is like, oh well, now I want to be with you? Just leave it alone. Which do you think she should choose? Neither. Literally neither. Do you think there is even potential for any of them because two of them are now a long distance and one of them is a P word? Okay, no. Don't waste time. Okay, I'm assuming your friend is on the younger side. Don't waste if she's running in fields with men. Okay, don't waste time. Okay, don't waste energy. Truthfully and honestly, if those men are young as well, they're gonna go and find them a new girl best friend when they move to their city. Might be a little bit painful at first because they're in a new city and they don't know anyone, but I promise you, in due time, those men will their attention and intensity will fizzle out, and they'll go and find new girls to be best friends with. And by the way, I never ever advise any of you to be best friends with a guy that you actually want to be romantic with. Okay, it's a waste of your time. And you will end up stressed out trying to get that man to date you and only to find out he has a new girlfriend. Don't waste time. Okay. Let's go on to our next question here. We're going to skip some of Sis's questions. Not that I don't want to answer yours, but we got to give some other people some time to get their questions answered as well. Okay. So, Paran says he told me he loved me and then disappeared. Okay. Hi, Tomisin and everyone. I am 28 and I had a 29-year-old man flirt with me this summer. I've only known him online for 2 years and we've been friendly and have always respected each other. I found him cute, but he had a girlfriend, so I never considered him. So what's the message about? Did things change? I'm nervous. We met because of an online mentoring program he was hosting. One day during the program, he started acting shy, looking at the ground. Maybe he was thinking of his girlfriend, maybe. Telling me how much he enjoys talking to me. Maybe because you reminded him of his girlfriend, maybe. Then, when I was sharing some struggles, he blurted out, he likes me. After a little pause, added that he loves me. Let me yeah. It's that time. It's that time. Let me yeah. Oh boy. This is man in a relationship blurts out he loves me. What should I do? That's like the title of your question, right? Yeah. I bet. All right. What should you do? Oh boy. I was so surprised, I just looked at him and continued the conversation. In the following sessions, he acted more nervous. He suggested fun activities that maybe I would like to go to. He would be there too. Dropping hints he's single. Oh, is he single now? Since when? You never mentioned that. And he likes the city he lives in, but is open to the possibility of moving. How long has it been since he broke up with that girl? I want to know. How long has it been since he broke up with that girl? Did you ask that or you don't care? He never made plans to see me in real life, though. The course was at its end, so he started asking personal questions and he hit a painful spot. What do Oh, like, so in his questions, he hit a painful spot. So I unintentionally trauma dumped. He then shared he made a lot of mistakes in his past, and if only I knew, I wouldn't want to deal with him. Who says you want to deal with him now? On the very last session, he again said he made mistakes, but at this stage, he doesn't want to let me know what. Are you on a date or are you in class? Like, what are we doing here? We said our goodbyes, hopefully forever, and he said it's not forever. Boy, I tell you, boy. And he smiled. We haven't spoken since, thank God. Thank God. And it's been 2 months. Honestly, thank God. Not because I don't want you happy, but thank God, because I don't think you have the ability to say no here. I've been keeping busy with myself, but I admit I liked a few posts of his, but not too many. He also reacts to my posts, but doesn't approach me to talk. You can actually tell he's avoiding talking to me. Why are you saying that? Like, oh, that's not, I hope you're not flexing with that you know that information. That should mean you don't waste any more time on him. I'm a little lacking in dating experience, and this confuses me a bit. Why is he doing this, and how should I act if he decides to come back? I'm going to make this Paran. Glad you asked this question. I want to make this super duper clear for you and anyone else in a situation like this. What I want you guys to understand is men will give all types of attention. Some of that attention is high quality attention. Some of that attention is low quality attention. I also want you to understand, for men, there is a thrill in flirting with women, going back and forth with them, and building some romantic and pineapple-y, which just means sexual tension between the two of you. Oh, I kind of like you. Oh, you're so awesome. Oh, the girl in my class likes me too. I'm wanking to the fantasy that maybe we'll do something in the bathroom. Maybe we won't. Maybe my hand will brush up against her booty. Maybe it won't. Oh my God, what might happen today on today's episode? And you have to understand, the men like doing that if they're already going to spend their time in that place anyways. Meaning, if he's going to these sessions and he already has to go to these sessions, and you're an interesting, attractive girl that he can talk to and go back and forth with and flirt with, it makes the process of going to those sessions that much better. Because when he goes to a place that he already has to go to, he gets to have the thrill of flirting with you, having some tension between the two of you, will we, won't we type of energy, right? Go on. And it makes that, experience more interesting. It's the same reason why guys will flirt with you at work, but when it comes to actually going out on a date with you, if they, leave that company, they no longer talk to you or message you or ask you to go out on a date, because it wasn't really, and it's not to make you, I don't want to say it because you're unworthy or anything like that, but you have to understand sometimes guys will give away attention simply because you're there in a place that's convenient for him where he already was existing. Not because he really wants to build a relationship with you. Guys do this at school, right? Guys do this at work. Guys do this in a plethora of different places, right? And so you kind of have to determine, are you just doing this because we're in the same class, in the same session, in the same program, whatever it may be? Or are you doing this because you actually want to go out with me and go out on a date with me? If a guy actually has intention with you, he will try and see you outside of the regular everyday setting. And if he doesn't try and see you outside of the regular setting where you guys always see each other, then don't waste your time thinking about, this being serious or escalating any further. Because the reality of it is, if a guy is really serious about you, he won't just accept seeing you. Someone even said the gym is also one of them. The gym is actually a big one, especially if you go to a big gym, if you go to like a Good Life Fitness, right? One that has a lot of people. And especially when you start going to the gym at the same time, you're going to see the same people. If he can only be bothered to talk to you and flirt with you at the gym, but he never wants to ask you out on a date, don't even bother your mind with what he says or what he does. You too, if you want, you can have your fun and just flirt with him for whatever, but don't be thinking to yourself, oh, this is going to turn into anything. Because the reality of it is these men will give low quality attention to you simply because you're already there where he was already going to have to spend his time. And he wants to make it more interesting and stimulating for himself by flirting with you since he already has to be there, especially work too, right? You have to be at work. And you are there getting paid. So you might as well flirt with a girl, have some tension with her going on while you get paid. Why not? But when they leave that job and it's actually time to say, oh, well, if you want to actually talk to this girl, you're going to have to actually invest in her outside of just seeing her at work. They say, bro, I don't want to do that. I don't care. Right? And that's not to be mean or to say that you don't matter, but I want you to take note of that. If he's not messaging you or anything with you as soon as you're not in the session with each other anymore, it's because he actually didn't care that much. He just wanted to wank himself off to your little bit of tension that you guys could have while he flirts with you. It was fun because he already had to be there. Now that he's not there, he don't care. Okay? Right? He don't care. So move on with your life because he don't care. So why do you? Right? Let's go on to our next question here, okay? Our next question comes from, okay, Allie's was deleted. Let's go to our next one, which comes from Wifely. Okay. Wifely says, the pull away. So Wifely says, I am a 44-year-old woman that's been dating a 38-year-old man. I've been dating a man for 2 months. Things were great initially with dates, daily texts, and phone calls. However, his work schedule has become increasingly demanding, leading to less communication and fewer physical meetings. Despite promises to slow down, he continued to work long hours and our interactions have dwindled. I'm feeling hurt and confused. Should I reach out or is it over? We did not have pineapples. We agreed we will take it slow and get to know each other. And he was so respectful, and we did not even make out, only a couple of pecks on the lips, hugs, and cuddles. I know that this is frustrating. Okay? Wifely. Okay? But especially when you invest 2 months in a guy. But what you have to understand and accept is if that man can't be bothered to continue this relationship with you, asking him why he can't be bothered or trying to reach out to say, hey, I've noticed you stopped talking to me. What's going on? I promise you, and I'm telling you this from experience, helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women, it will not do anything. He might give you some silly excuse. I've been busy at work. I've been doing this. I ate so many Oreos, I got sick. I only have 9 toes now. I got gout. They make up so many excuses. And you might think, oh, now that I reached out to you and you told me what the issue was, we'll be good now. You'll message me again and everything will be back to normal. I'm so glad I sent that message. When he says his excuse, you might message a little bit for the rest of the day, and then the next day will come and he'll go back to not messaging you again. And then you'll be in the exact same place that you were before you messaged him. Because the reality of men, when they have your number, they have your contact info, they have your Instagram, your WhatsApp, your Snapchat, they know how to message you if they really want to message you and see you. And when they don't message you, it's because they don't really care enough to see you or speak to you. I know that's confusing, and I know your natural inclination is to seek out answers, but the reality of it is any answer you receive from him is either going to be a lie, a deflection, or just a pointless, answer, meaning that what you get from it is not even going to yield to anything. Even if he were to tell you the truth, oh, I stopped messaging you because I was going through some stuff and I have my ex, in my life and I'm not sure how I feel about her. What is that actually going to do? Is he going to start talking to you now because, you reached out to him? No. You might get a little bit more clarity, but what do you want clarity on for a man who you're never even going to speak to again? Especially if he doesn't even have the desire to speak to you. Okay. Now, what I don't want is for you to blame yourself or think that you're worth less because this guy lost interest in you or just started doing something else. Understand, guys lose interest for a variety of different reasons, some of which have nothing to do with you. And also understand it's not a reflection of you or your desirability simply because he lost interest or his interest went somewhere else. But you have to allow men to show you if they're actually prepared to be in a relationship with you or have that desire. Because if they don't, and they're only willing to date you for 2 months, and then all of a sudden, you know, it just dwindles down to nothing, sure, fine. You can't lose your marbles because a guy that you once found interesting, they have no longer, they've stopped pursuing you. Because at the end of the day, you can't build no relationship around you pursuing a man or you trying to force him to pursue you. It's just not going to work like that. And you have to accept that and realize that that response is a direct answer to you that this guy is not who you're looking for or even want to be in a relationship with. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, chat. That is the show for today. For those, wow, damn, we went over almost to 7. How did we get so? Maybe I went really long today. Okay. All right, chat. That's the show for today. For those of you who have questions for me, you can drop it in our relationship advice section, whether it be the free section or the premium section. You can also send in to me your private questions if you guys have private questions for me as well. And I will get to all of those. I'm going to get to some of those later today as well, my private questions. All right, chat. I'm going to be here tomorrow as well. Make sure that you guys prepare yourselves for next week when we're going to have some in-person questions. I'm going to try and get that done. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch or you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just Tomisin_Atub. For those of you who are on YouTube, it's in the link in the description, Tomisin_Atub. You can follow me on Instagram there. For those of you who are on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show because you missed parts or you came late, it's all on my YouTube channel, as Sharice said, right? All on my YouTube channel. It's just Tomisin Atobatele. It's right on the top right corner of the screen. That's where I'm pointing. You go to my YouTube channel and then you go into the live section. You'll see this live stream and then you'll see all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time, okay? And you'll have the YouTube and TikTok live chat embedded in the video for you to see, and you'll be able to follow along with all the conversation that's happening there. All right. I'm here tomorrow. I'm here every weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. Might not be the same time in your time zone. And I'll be here tomorrow on Friday at 4 p.m. EST. Okay. So until we meet again tomorrow, goodbye for now. Arrivederci, adios, sayonara, hasta la vista, ciao, salam. Bon voyage! And I'll see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, let me answer one of these. Did I do all of my donations? Okay. Oh, Princess said she donated $4.99. She said, Tomisin, I literally watch you all the time and say to myself, he will be a great father. And now today you do a lesson on this. So funny. Thank you, Princess. And thank you for your donation. Thank you all for your donation. So kind. So generous. All right, chat. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you so much. Okay.